There you are. How are you, Thomas?
Good, Deb. How are you?
Good. You ready to rock and roll today?
Yes, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to. Okay, we can get started. I'm Deborah Haley. I manage the Sun City Center office with C21 Beggins, and I've been around for 38 years. I've been around Craig Beggins and Century 21 Beggins since 2002, and I've been managing since 2006 with Craig. So what you're going to see today is all about geographic farming and farming in other avenues. Thomas is going to be helping me and actually part of this. And so Thomas, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Thomas Simmons. I've been with Century 21 Beggins for 6 years. I'm a manager and partner with Century 21 Beggins, and I manage the Brandon office. I've been in real estate total years, I believe, collectively is 16 years. And I'm just really excited to be here and share some knowledge with you.
So we have lots to share with you today, some really exciting stuff. And so we're going to talk a lot on geographic farming, but there is other definitions of farming that we can touch on pretty quickly. Because what is your farm? It could be a geographic area that we're going to touch on today, but it could be your sphere. If you don't want to go out and door knock or own a geographic farm, there's other avenues you can do. So Thomas, you want to go ahead on with this slide and talk about their other opportunities?
Yes, or you want to share your slide?
That's not shared?
No, it's not shared.
Uh-oh. Okay then, let me get back here. So while he's doing that, what we're talking about today is some different avenues that you can farm, the geographic farming that we really talk about a lot in here is because it's effective, it works, it always works. It's a great avenue and a great tool in your tool belt that you can absolutely use. There we go, I can see it. It's a great tool in your tool belt to really use. So go ahead and define what our farm is, Thomas. What your farm can be.
Sure. Basically, farm. So the whole purpose of farming is to find a community or a residential area that you become the local expert. Okay, this is the whole purpose of that. You want to know what the HOA is. You want to know what CDD is. You want to know what just listed, what just sold, what expired, that's for sale by owners in that area. And today we're just going to talk about different ways to obtain that information. We have a lot of resources that we can give you to help you kind of just really just tighten it up on the number of homes, the turn rate, the average sales price, so you can find out what your commission is. So really tune in, grab a piece of paper or a notebook and take some notes, because this is going to be really valuable information for you guys.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about social media a lot today and how to farm in social media, how to geo-target areas, how to combine, and you should be combining a couple different things with your farm. If you're going to become a neighborhood expert, it's a good opportunity to combine social media with that now, because we have that capability to do that. So if you can go to the next slide. Here we go. What is your geographic farm area? It is a neighborhood. It is something that you really are going to have to like and identify with, so you'll keep going back to it. It's something, I tell my agents, you need to marry it. You need to find a reason to be out there on a weekly basis and become an expert and know everything about it. You do need to know the homeowners associations. You need to know the ins and outs, how often it moves, and we're going to get into that. How many homes do you need to focus on? 200 to 300 is a good number. Many of y'all will come to me and say, but I want to do 600 to 800, 900. That's awesome. But if you're going to door knock and get your face out there, it may be easier to do 200 or 300. If you're going to do every door direct, which we're going to talk about, then you can do 600 to 800 homes with mailers, which is very, very effective too. Are you going to door knock? Are you going to mail? Are you going to geo-target areas? You need to do all the above. I am a big proponent of door knocking for one purpose. Craig and Peter got me started in door knocking and farming in 2002. I hated it just like you guys did because I thought, oh, what's the purpose? I'll never get anything. It's hot, I'm tired, I'm cranky. But on my 3rd month of religiously getting out there and door knocking, on the 4th month, I got 4 listings. The light bulb came on. I wouldn't have had any of those listings had I not gone out and met people. And I know some people think this is old school. It's not. You got to go where the houses are, because that's our shoe store. You know, if you're going to compare it to a shoe store, where the shoes at, and the shoe store, where your home's at. It's in a geographic area. So you want to find something that is going to be really great. Right now with COVID-19, it's kind of scary to door knock, and I understand that. So we have other avenues that you can still get your information out there and become that neighborhood expert. So Thomas and I are going to go through that too. Are you going to do gated or not gated? You can do either. You can't door knock and gated. Obviously, they'll throw us out. But you can actually mail in there and be effective with your mailers if you know what you're mailing. And we have some selections for you. Do you want a newer neighborhood or a older neighborhood? It really depends on the ratios for turnover rates, which we'll also go over with you. So we're going to look at all this in the next few slides to really help you. And there we go. Are you in competition with the new home builders or other established agents in the area? You need to know that. There may be agents that really been in that area for years that dominate. Do you want to be up against them? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you know they're maybe getting out of the business soon, maybe not. But there's plenty of areas to pick from that you can really choose a different area that doesn't have as much competition. So we have a tremendous amount of beautiful, wonderful neighborhoods, you know, in Tampa Bay.
I would like to add to that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
That, you know, with the home builders, and the reason why we bring up this bullet point is because not with the competition, it really comes with, you know, listing a home, right? You're gonna have to know the competition in order to price that home accordingly. Because if builders are still continuing to build in that community, that may not be the community that you want to be in, because there's going to be a lot of incentives with the home builders as far as commission, closing costs. So if you have someone that has a current home that they want to list, they've only been there for a year or two, that's going to be a much harder sale because of the new homes that's being built that comes with the warranties and things like that. So just be cognizant of that when you're looking for a farm. Very, very important.
Yep. They also pay the agents a lot more money on commission sometimes. So if you're dealing with the seller, you know, you have to have that conversation. Are they going to want to pay 8-9% commissions? I don't know. Probably not, though. It's much harder on the new homes. Thank you for bringing that up, Thomas. Demographic profile. This is important. What market, what target are you getting? Are you really focusing on? Are you looking at a move up, a first time home buyer neighborhood? So you're going to have millennials and your Gen X, Y, Zs that are just up and coming on their jobs and making more money. Are you wanting to get in something that is maybe a retirement home where they're on the water, like in Apollo Beach and Mirror Bay and stuff? And so they got the kids out of the house now. It's just them and they're getting their dream home. You know, what area are you really going to focus on, and what's your demographic profile for those areas? Here in Sun City, we deal with seniors. So we have a great senior profile here, and we have other needs for those people because these are expendable homes here. They're here to move to Florida to get away from the kids from up north and to scale down. But once they get here, they scale back up. So you've got to know your demographics when you're going into an area so you can really relate to them. Your geographic profile, this is a big deal. Do you want waterfront? Do you want the best schools like Fishhawk? Do you want to be around employers so you'll know you'll have a good assortment of people moving into the area that employers are moving in, like USAA up in North Tampa and stuff? What is that geographic profile? Do you want to focus on horse farms for equestrian, or do you want to do farmland? What is your specialty and your niche? This is a good time to figure out what your niche is going to be. You know, if you have, you know, if you're a horseback rider yourself, maybe you do want to focus on equestrian communities because we have them around here. So you got to think about what your specialty is that you want. And I know, Thomas, you and I live on waterfront. So our specialty would be the waterfront because we're boaters and we know the water, right?
Right.
And it would be a slam dunk for us to farm our areas. So you got to think about that. What is the financial profile? You want cash? Are they paying cash predominantly in that area? Or is there a lot of FHA and VA loans or USDA loans? Got to think about that too. So where do you really want to focus on your farm?
And that would also come down to price point too.
Absolutely.
You know, FHA and VA loan. Well, now VA doesn't really have a cap anymore, right? So,
better.
but right, exactly. But FHA, you know, it's 300 plus, and then they have that limit. So that's also going to allow you to let you know if that's going to be an area that, you know, going to let you know what type of buyers are going to be in that particular neighborhood.
Absolutely. And your sellers. And if you think about it, if you're setting up your business plan, we talked about that yesterday some, you really want to focus on price point, what Thomas just brought up. Do you want a farm area that brings you $200,000 and $300,000 homes, or do you want an area that's going to bring you $400,000 to $600,000, $700,000 homes? This is a way that you can control your income coming in. So if you focus on the higher end and the better homes, you're going to have listings in those price ranges, and you're also going to have buyers coming for those price range. So that's something to really consider when you're picking out a farm area. And it's what I go through with all my agents.
And where can you go, Deb, and establish your own income, your own salary per year, right? You gotta love it, right?
That's it. I mean, this is wide open for you guys. You know, you want $1 million homes? Oh my gosh, you know, go to the beaches. Mirror Bay is starting to get $1 million homes. And believe it or not, Tampa Bay is starting to get $1 million homes, a lot of $1 million home neighborhoods. And I mean, you're not limited. And you don't have to cut your teeth on the new cheap stuff. You can go to the very established higher end homes, and you should. No reason not to, right? Okay. Now go to the next. Do you want to define your farm by location? Yeah, you do. You want to make it convenient for yourself. Do you want to drive 30 minutes to get to your farm, or do you want to walk out the door and farm your neighborhood? There's some huge benefits to farming where you live, you know, if you live in a nice neighborhood. Number one, you love it there, you know your neighbors. That's a great thing. You're going to know a lot of stuff about the neighborhood already if you're going to farm where you live. Now, how do you do the research, Thomas?
You can go to IMAP Tax. I mean, you're very familiar with that, but they also have a website now, it's rspppro.com, where it pulls data from the MLS, and it actually shows you literally how many homes are going to be in a community or subdivision. It tells you what the turnover rate is going to be, and then it also tells you what the average sales price of the home is. So again, going back to what we said earlier, knowing the average sales price, you can determine what your income is going to be. Also, knowing what the turnover rate is going to be, that is also going to let you know who's moving and who's not moving, and it gives you that percentage, right? So they said the average percentage is at least like 4 to 6%. So there's some where you can see 7 to 8%, and you can see them within a year, or you can also see them within the 5 years of how many people are moving in and out of that community, which is very huge when it comes to, you know, working a farm, because we don't want to work a farm that has, you know, little to none turnover rate, right? Because those people love it. They're not leaving. They're lifers, right? So we want to get in a community that they're actually looking to move. Very important.
Absolutely. And there are communities out there that people will move around inside the community because it's a lifestyle community like Mirror Bay and Fishhawk, and they'll move around absolutely inside that community 2 or 3 times, depending on number of kids and job transfers and stuff. We just had a question about where is the site Thomas was talking about. It's the rspppro.com that we have on the screen there for you, RISPRO.
Yep, I just sent it to the chat now. Yep, exactly. You're welcome.
Yeah, IMAP Tax is wonderful too because you can get a house top count. That's what we used before RISPRO came out, and it's also a great resource in your MLS to use. It's also free. So just so many great resources now to do quick research and to set up your business.
And you can also, which we haven't listed here, is Remind too. You can also go into Remind. You can also set up, you know, your farm there as well. Okay.
Yep.
So there's just another resource, guys, because, back in the days, it was just like, okay,
Oh,
how
we
many
had to
homes does this
drive.
person have?
We had
Right.
to
We had to
drive
drive.
around.
Right. And you know
Yeah.
what, Deb, quite honestly, that's not a bad idea either. Right.
Yeah.
If you locate a community that you don't know, right,
Yeah.
why don't you just drive through there, see what type of home, see what the condition of the home, see if there's landscaping in there, if there's not an HOA, let's look at the colors of the homes. Let's look at, see how many cars are on the grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Parked on the grass. There's a lot of things that you need to take in consideration when it comes to a farm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You need to do the research. It does begin with the research, because just to jump out there and pick something kind of randomly, you're going to end up jumping around then. And the purpose of farming is to really find something and then stick to it and marry it and be committed to it for a long term, because that will feed you a tremendous amount of business. So we can go to the next slide. Tell you a little story that just happened to me yesterday. I farmed at Apollo Beach for 5 years, from 2002 to 2006. And I door knocked for 5 years. I did everything. It was great. I made a lot of money in my farm. I got fed a lot from my farm. I got a call last night from somebody in my farm, and I haven't farmed since 2006. But they remembered me and said, "Deborah, can you help us? My daughter wants to move down the street." And it's like, sure. And, I haven't even been farming since really 14 years. And that's how this farm will feed you, though, because when they're ready to move, they're going to contact you because they know you, because you've been in front of them. Material. This is a biggie. What are you going to use to get out there? We've got a couple different things. I did 2 different things when I was farming. I would really recommend this. I door knocked with a newsletter, but I also sent out a postcard every month offering something like a free market analysis or CMA or something. So they always had 2 pieces coming from me every month. Something you should consider. If we can't door knock right now, that's great. Get a good, wonderful piece of literature out there, though. And we have them. Business Builder is amazing. You can create flyers and newsletters in Business Builder. If you're with C21, they give this to us. It has a library of 700 things in it that you can create flyers and newsletters from. So that is, and do drip campaigns with the newsletters and everything else. So that is a great thing for us. We have wizard newsletters that we publish for the agents every month. It costs a little bit of money. That is a 4-page wonderful newsletter with a letter from the broker on the inside. So it's a great art piece that will keep shelf life on the countertops with your clients. It just won't go in the trash. But every door direct, if you want to do a mass mailing for the cheapest and the biggest bang for your buck, is eddm.usps.com. The link is here on the page. It's every door direct. This does, now you have to mail a whole rule route, and you mail a 8.5 by 11 piece, front and back. You don't have to fold it. You don't have to label it, and you don't have to stamp it. That's the easy part about it. You have to make up the newsletter and what you're going to send out, but you send it out. You get it printed up on cardstock. If you're with us, you can use our printers. If you're not with us, I'm sorry, you got to go to the printer. But you have to have 80 to 100 pound cardstock, and then you take it to the post office. To send about a rule route of 600 to 700 homes, it's going to cost you about 120 bucks. It's cheap. That's postage included. So,
Okay.
whereas if you send it out, I think 300 wizards, which are still nice, you're going to spend that much money on 300 homes. So if you want to, hit a broader area, Every Door Direct is a phenomenal thing. And so go in there into that site, learn how to do it. It'll explain everything to you and what you have to take to the post office.
So you're probably saying, like, okay, newsletters. Deb explained about the newsletters with the wizard, the 4-page, with the broker, with a great message, and then it says flyers and handouts. You're probably saying, like, well, okay, what type of flyer, what type of handout? What kind of information do I put on the flyers, right? So you can put the just listed, right? Just sold, right? the marketing trends that's going on in the area. Maybe you may have some open houses or something that might be going on in that area. And you may have them, you know, where you know that they're going to be, you know, a week from now or 2 weeks now, because that's your farm. You're going to be the one that's going to set it up. So you can put like invitations out to let everyone know what's going on, right? Maybe there might be something that might be going on in the community with the HOA, maybe the roads or something like that nature, right? Those are information that you could share with that farm, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be the real neighborhood expert and be their go-to source to put in their garage sales, to put in the HOA minutes and when the meetings are. You can own the neighborhood very quickly. And I think we're going to get into it just a minute too about social media, which Thomas is going to go over. We've got a couple slides ahead to go over how to do that with a farm with social media too, which is really exciting. So Thomas, if you go to the next one.
Yep.
Okay. This is all about goal setting too, because to set up a farm and just say, I'm going to go out and door knock or I'm going to go mail, you need a reason. We keep talking about your why, which you've heard that for the last day and a half now, almost 2 days. You got to have a reason and you have to have defined goals. And how many listings do you want to take a month out of that farm? What's your goal on that? What's your goal, buyer goals on that? How many buyers do you want to pull from that farm? It's just not about the listings. Referrals. You know, the biggest thing I found out about farming is, because I was in a very established neighborhood, so I didn't think people would want to move that often, but I was getting a ton of referrals like, you know, my brother's moving in, can you help him up in Brandon? It's like, sure. You know, you don't understand the amount of referrals you're going to pick up as you start farming and talking to more and more people. You've got to define some real things, and you've got to think about your scripts. And you've got what you're going to use every month. What are you going to talk about every month? What's the message you're going to get out in your newsletter every month? You know, when you go to making contacts in your farm, and I will go over this briefly because when I set up farming here in the office for the agents back in beginning of 2007, I had 22 agents commit to door knocking back then, and it worked because we got about 40% market share in a year. But we always had to have something new to come out with in that farm every month. And so it was a combined effort of thinking about what are we going to offer? What are we going to talk about? You know, what new thing can we do? And this, so you've got to think ahead and plan that. You got to think about how many contacts a day. If you're door knocking and you're able to go out and visit people, or if you're making calls in that farm, you got to think about how you're gonna, how many contacts in that farm a day do you need to make? This is a tool in your tool belt. So it doesn't mean you need to go out and make 15, 20 contacts a day. What if you need 5 contacts a day in your farm, and then you're doing 5 FSBOs and 5 expireds? That'll give you 15 contacts a day. Simple, but you've got to think about the number of contacts. You got to set aside your time frame to work in your farm. We talked about this yesterday when we were talking about scheduling. You need a schedule, a defined time to focus on your farm, whether you're going to do mailers, whether you're going to pick up the phone and call people that you have met, that you know, who have reached out to you. You got to set aside that time frame, and then you got to start. There's many ways to do this, and if you can focus in and hone in on 2 or 3, it will work beautifully for you, and you make a great living farming.
And I also think too, please understand, this is something that takes time to work.
Yes.
This is something that just doesn't come in overnight. There's going to be many, many, many follow-ups. If you could put in your mindset that you're here to provide a service for someone, to give them knowledge, to educate them, and let them know that you're here to help them, what's going to happen is you're going to start to build a rapport. And the rapport is the way that you're going to build a relationship with these individuals that's in your farm, right? If you're just trying to go after the listing, they don't know you from a hole in the wall, right? And they got other agents that's trying to hit them the same way. So let's go ninja style, as we call it, and get to know them. Find out what their wants and needs are, right? You know, as you get to know them, you're going to find out who's the neighborhood gossip, I call it. You're going to find out who just got divorced, who just died, who got married, who's getting separated, who's looking to downsize, upsize. You know what I mean? It's just, you're just going to be able to gather all of that information, but it's not going to happen until you develop a relationship with them. And
Yeah.
first you must help them and let them know what's going on in the area. And once they see that they like you, they trust you, then more than likely they're going to do business with you. But keep in mind too, just like Deb said, they may not be wanting to move or list their home anytime soon. But you know what? They may have a friend or family member or someone that they know that might be looking to move or sell. So at the end of the day, those people will refer you business because they like you and they trust you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll go next one.
Oh, the next one. Yeah. Why do you want market share in a community? This is really important because here's your why. Here's my why for you. You want the brand awareness. We're fortunate to be with C21. We are the #1 brand in the world. Everyone knows us already. They're going to get to know you as Joe Smith with C21. That brand will attach to you, and it brings a lot of great professionalism, and that attaches to you and adheres to you for a long time. They're more apt to talk to you than being with somebody with 100% company. If you think about that, it's true, because the brand awareness is a lot in this business. What's the other reasons? You get signage, you get listings. Guess what? Your sign goes up, your name goes up. People start seeing your name. Hopefully you've got a picture on your sign rider showing your face, and they'll begin to recognize you. That happens very quickly when you start getting listings. It's all self-brand promotion at this point. So this is why you want market share, because once they see you around the community, they're going to start recognizing you, and now you've got first top of mind awareness with them. You can use social media to create this mind share too, and geo-target geographic neighborhoods and become the go-to neighborhood expert on Facebook. Your monthly newsletters we were talking about are going to create a social environment for you to really be that social advisor in the neighborhood every month with your newsletters. Thomas, you were going to say something?
Yeah, sure. And with the mind share, creating a mind share, we're talking about market share, right? Mind share. If you can create 20% of mind share, and how do you do that? You want to maybe create a Facebook page with a group, right? You may want to go ahead and take a picture of that subdivision, that little, stone that's out there with the name of the subdivision. Like if you go to Panther Trace, they have different subdivisions in there, right? And they got like a panther in there. You can take a picture of that. You can talk about the HOA. You can talk about the amenities and things of that nature. Take pictures of that and post it on your Facebook page. And then you could do drip campaigns, right? So people say, well, how are you going to do a drip campaign? You can go to Coles Realty. You can get their email address. You can go to Remont. You can get their email addresses, and you can start sending these things to them. You can start inviting people, to that community, because you already have their names. Yes, you got their names from Remont, so you can go ahead and put that in a search bar and invite them to that page because they live in that community. Okay. Also, there's another way that you probably can do that too. I mean, if you go to the 411 app, right, and you want to get phone numbers from there, you can put the person's phone number, you can put the name in there, and they actually show you the address. So if you have that on your phone, you can actually look that up. That's another way that you can gather information. So, and you can start inviting those people to your community. So by doing that, you can put just listed, you can put just sold, you can talk about open houses, you can do a newsletter where you actually literally do a little video and you can actually talk to them about it. So there's just so many ways, guys, that you can literally just go out there and farm with social media. You're right? Yeah. Because we're talking about mind share. When we talk about mind share, we're talking about top of mind. That's all we're doing. And I guarantee you, if you do this for 12 months straight, trust me, you're going to have business.
Absolutely.
Bottom line.
Yeah,
Okay?
You're going to have a lot of business. Yeah.
Right. And it just goes back to what we said, yesterday, Deb, when we talked about my scheduling, right?
Yeah.
Put this in your schedule and it won't be hard. It's only hard when you're all over the place and you're not organized.
Yeah, and this is a great platform to stay organized in a really central little area. You've got bragging rights there when you do your just listed, just sold. That's going to get your name out there. You do that on social media. You can do the mailers. You can door knock with the flyers. You have the ability to do open houses in your farm. And guess what happens? You get your open house signs out there. People see you all over the neighborhood on the weekend. It's amazing how quickly you will become well known, especially if you start doing open houses in your farms. You can do, and I had an agent that did this. I love this idea. Every time she had a closing with a buyer, she did a welcome to the neighborhood party for the buyer within 2 weeks after they moved in. Diane did this. She made a lot of money, guys, doing this. She would buy, it depends, 4 or 5 good bottles of wine or 6, invite just a local street in that neighborhood, maybe 30 to 50 people to come and meet their new neighbors for 1 hour. She'd have a little cheese spread set up. That's it. She'd spend less than $100 between the wine and the cheese for that afternoon. But she'd be there serving everybody. She sent out first-class invitations to this wine and cheese, so all the neighbors would come to meet their new neighbors. If they were teetotalers, she had ice cream socials. Or if you get a family neighborhood with kids, do the ice cream socials and with some wine for the parents, you know. Get creative with this because you can own these neighborhoods. And Diane owned really her whole area and did seriously $250,000 a year farming here in Sun City Center for 12 years. So, and that was a fun part of her business, was doing these socials. You're gonna have less
that's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. It's such a great,
Yeah,
it's so fun too.
It's fun, especially if you're working, you know, working from your own neighborhood, right?
Yes.
What better way there is to get to know the neighbors and just have maybe, you know, cook some burgers and hot dogs and invite them in, you know? I mean, how cool is that? And to do that for a person that just moved into the area, that's huge.
That's huge. You know, I'd set a grill out front and do hot dogs. Pass out hot dogs and sodas or beer, you know. It's not expensive to do. It's all right up, but it's such a fun thing. And trust me, these buyers that just moved in will love you and tell everyone about you, and they'll see you working, serving hot dogs, giving people beer or wine. I mean, it's so fun. But what self-promotion is this? This is great self-promotion.
Absolutely.
So less wear and tear on you and your car. You know, if you say localized, I did about 12,000 miles a year on my car. That's it. I had a lease. And I could stay very local and centralized with my business when I was farming, and it paid dividends to do this. And it was a lot less stress. So I'll go to the next one. There we go. So why do you want market share in a community? You just heard today about FSBOs and expireds. You're already going to know about them because you'll be around. People are going to tell you the Joneses are getting divorced down the street. He's already moved out. Do you think they're going to have to sell? Yeah. They're going to be telling you everything. You're going to know about the expireds. You'll know all the gossip that Thomas was telling you earlier. Who's getting married? Who's getting divorced? Who's getting job transferred? You'll be able to find out everything before any other realtors in the area are going to find out. This is one of the main reasons. Yeah.
Having a baby, I forgot about one. Who's pregnant? Who's having a baby, right?
Yeah.
So obviously that they may need a bigger home for that person, right? You know, maybe they want to do it before, they want to do it after, but at least you'll know.
Absolutely.
That's huge. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's huge. You'll have, are you ready for this drum roll? The ability to double side more deals, right? You get the listing, you know the neighborhoods. The neighbors may find their family members come to you. Deborah, I see your listings down the streets. You just listed. I got my daughter coming in and she's got a baby. We need her close to us. We want to buy the house. That happened all the time. You're going to be able to double side more deals because people, when families move into Tampa Bay, I don't know about everybody else, it's happened to me. I moved here with my mom, and then my brother, my dad came, and then I got my stepdaughter. Everybody moves here. They don't move out of here. If you've got somebody moving into the area, they end up moving here, and they want their family around them in the same neighborhoods. You're going to find a lot of that because the parents want to be close to the grandkids. The kids want the parents close so they can babysit. There's a lot of reasons why people move around each other. And that's a great reason to have a neighborhood.
Take in consideration too that, yeah, you double-sided, but that person that's selling has to move somewhere too.
That could be a
right?
triple. That'd be a
Thank
triple
you.
play.
That's a hat trick right there.
Yeah, it is. It's a triple play. So, I mean, it's amazing how much business you can just out of focusing on an area will gain you so much business. You will be regarded as a local real estate expert. This happened to me on my third house I listed at the end of 2002. I had the client call me. She had never met me. She had got all my mailers and she had got all my stuff I left on her door for 3 months. She was a day nurse, so I mean, she worked nights, and so I could never meet her. I didn't know her. She picked the phone and called me and said, "Deborah, I have all your stuff sitting here on my kitchen table. You must be the real estate expert in the area, right?" I had just started farming 3 months prior to that. I said, "Sure I am." She said, "Come on over," and she listed her house with me. Guys, you know, it's about getting your face out. And even if you don't meet these people, it's getting out the material until they're ready, when they're ready to move. So you want to become that local real estate expert and get the referrals. So Thomas, you know all the resources. You can.
Well, I think we kind of talked about this a little earlier, just to recap, at IMAP Tax and the rsppro.com, where they pull data. You mentioned about sending out the mailers through the UPS, USPS Postal Service, which is huge. Guys, if you haven't done this, please take down this address, because I mean, this link, because this is huge. I mean, you can literally just captivate like 500 homes, you know, and like a click of a button, you know. And I think what is it, like 19 cents or something like that?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
It's something ridiculous, you know. So I mean, if you're able to just send out a mailer or a flyer or something of that nature, you know, because at the end of the day, again, like I said, you're building rapport. You're trying to stay top of mind, right? And I'll be quite honest with you, the mailers and the flyers and stuff are good, but that's not the key, okay? You got to build some rapport. You got to get in front of these people, right? You got to knock on the door. You got to make some phone calls, because that's the way you're going to build relationships, because everybody's doing this. What's going to separate you? Just always remember that. What's going to be your unique selling position, your USP, okay? So we got to make sure that you're using some of these tools that we're sharing with you, so you can have that USP. Again, go ahead, Deb. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to just mention, if you're going to door knock right now with coronavirus, you know, you can keep yourself safe. You can wear your mask, you can wear gloves. I would highly recommend, if you're going to do it, take a baggie of masks that are pre-wrapped with you. You get them really cheap right now at Sam's or anywhere else. Hand them out. What a nice little thing to leave with a newsletter. Here's a fresh, you know, in a bag mask for you. Do you think they'll talk to you? Handouts, get the little small hand sanitizers to hand out. Do some stuff that is unique, because most agents won't do this. So sit yourself aside and do this. Everybody's going to be talking to you through a door. If they come to the door anyway, everybody's protected. You can leave it on the doorstep for them. But it's still, they need to see your face. They need to know you're a human being, and they need to interact. And you're going to be amazed at the number of people that will talk to you right now. They're all home. Think about that. They're all home. Here in Sun City, they're home and alone. They will drag you in the house and talk to you 6 feet across just to talk to you. And because they're lonely, people need interaction. And now's a good time to get out and be safe and be smart and take some things with you to give away. It's worth the investment, small investment, to do that. That's what I would recommend, to get your face out there.
I totally agree with you. And, you know, this accessibility, the proximity to schools, businesses, malls, airports, the bay, the golf, that's huge, right? Because when it comes to selling, you know, those things are very, very important. You know, if obviously the level of the schools, you know, if it's an A, B, C, or D, that stuff matters, right? You know, if you could avoid getting in a D school area, okay, but make sure if you are in that area, make sure there's some charter schools around, you know, that's in the proximity, right? You know, businesses and more. Maybe some people don't want to be close to stuff. So you just got to take in consideration what's important to you and how do you think about when it comes to, you know, purchasing a home, because that's going to make it easier for you to be able to sell. So just keep that in mind.
It's absolutely true. We can go to the next one. Okay, the downside, we'll go through this really quickly because I got really something exciting on the next couple slides. The downside to market share, you're going to be really busy making money. You've got to learn how to manage your time. Oh my God, this is big. You got to hire a personal assistant because you can't do all the clerical by yourself because you'll be so busy. You have to set up IRAs, plan trips, buy a bigger house, buy a boat, buy a nicer car, give your kids spending money or not. There's no downside. The downside is you're going to create a better life for yourself. And you're going to have more because you focus on some major things. So simple things. Communication is the key. You're going to have to learn how to communicate effectively. We've been talking about this. So consistency is the key to everything. Whatever you do it the same way every month, same time a month. And you're going to find out when you send out consistent things, people are going to recognize after the third, fourth month that they can rely on you because you're consistent. Now you become a real estate professional in their head because you're consistently doing something every month in front of them. So
I just want to share something with you too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stephanie on a chat, Stephanie Burrow says, I door hang Sun City in my area. They are amazing and loving and having people come to the house. A week ago, I gave away 400 bags of caramel corn from Popcorn Factory. They labeled me as a popcorn realtor.
That's it. I love that. I love that. Okay, we're going to get into the money. Go ahead and go to the next. We got to talk about, before we get in the money, we got to talk about how consistent your contacts are going to be. This is to everything you do in this business. And we all hear this, right, Thomas? I want to make 100,000 this year.
Yep.
It's doable. That's the good news. You can do even a lot more than that. But how many deals a month do you have to do? How many contacts a day do you have to do? You have to define that. We've talked a lot. Jeff has talked a lot about that in the last couple of days. And here's a breakdown. You want to do 3 contacts a day? Yeah, you'll be doing 1 to 3 deals a year. Okay. You want to do 20 contacts a day? Now we're getting in some serious stuff. You're making 25 to 35 deals a year. That's quantifiable, guys. Many years of doing this. This is what I see. You know, so it depends on how busy and how much you want. This is what you've got to put into it to get out what you want. So you can do this by a combination of farming, of social media, of for sale by owners, expires, but you got to figure out your contacts. Always go to the contacts. It is a numbers game. You want to make some great money? Think about 30 contacts a day, and how long do you think that takes a day? 30 contacts you can probably knock out in 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day. You know, if you're, am I right on this, Thomas?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's law of averages, right?
It is.
I mean, you know, the more people you talk to, or the more no you get, the closer you get to a yes.
Absolutely.
So you have to get out there and you have to make the contacts, whether you're going to do it by phone or you're going to do it by door knocking. Either way, you need to get out there and talk to someone about real estate and find out who has real estate needs.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
That's right. Okay, market share. We're going to talk about this because you want to focus on about 30% market share in your farm, because you're going to have people in your farm that already know Susie from Remax, or they have a relative that's doing real estate. You're not going to get everything, but 30% is a good number. And out of 200 homes a year, you know, if you get in a neighborhood that's turning well, and if you're 15 to 20% a year, which is not unusual. If you get in a newer neighborhood, it's going to be lower. If you get into an old established neighborhood, it may be higher, but we're just going to use 20% as a ratio. Out of 200 homes, that's a potential of 40 listings and 40 buyer sides in a year. It's 80 deals a year of potential. Are you going to get all that? No, but 40%, 30% market share of those 40 listings. If you get 12 listings a year, which broken down is 1 listing a month. Chunk that down to 1 listing a month. Now you're looking at, oh, that's market share. Okay, let's do the flip side.
Let's take that a step further, Deb. Let's go back to getting 1 listing per month. Finding maybe out of that 12 listings, maybe you might find 4 people that you might be able to double side that.
Oh yeah, right? Absolutely, right? Yeah.
And then all those 12 individuals have to purchase another home, whether it's going to be in the Tampa Bay area you know, or Pinellas or out of state. Either way, we're able to help, right?
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
because we're part of the reload program. So at the end of the day, we're able to help them no matter what. So just
Absolutely.
think about the guys, just think about the opportunity
Yeah.
that you're gonna have just by doing this. 12 listings. It's just not the listings, it's all about the other opportunities that you can help others. Huge, guys.
That's huge. Yeah, and you're right about the buyers right now. One listing is going to bring you 4 or 5 buyers. Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's truly, it's amazing. So if you go to the next slide, we're going to talk about the buyer side on this. So the buyer is the same side. So you got 40 buyers in a neighborhood, 30%, that's 12 buyers a year. Thomas just said you're going to get 4 or 5 buyers out of each listing. So this is even going to go up exponentially. So now if you get, being conservative, if you get 12 listings and you got 12 buyer sides, now you got 24 deals a year. 24. And that's amazing, guys. And then you think about the referrals that we were talking about, you know, that you're going to get possibly 6, 7, 8 referrals because somebody's going to want to move to Brandon, somebody's going to want to move to Longboat Key. You've got referrals, you know, and with the way the market is now, with the extra amount of buyers out there right now, this is going to be exponentially a lot more. This is a very conservative schedule right here. But can you see doing 24 deals a year on this is going to create more business, and it goes down to the home price. If your average home sale price is $300,000, $9,000 per 3% on each side. We'll get to the splits in a minute. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. But you can see where you could do 30 deals a year fairly easy in your farm. And I think you're going to do a whole lot more out of that because the buyers right now out in the middle of it. So out in the area right now.
Right, because I mean, as we know, it's still a seller's market, right?
Yeah.
You know, we got high demand and low supply, right?
Yeah.
So if we can, you know, really just funnel on trying to get these listings, you're gonna own the market, guys.
Yes, you will.
So I mean, just think about this. I mean, you could be the one that's running around driving the buyers all around, or you could be the one that the buyers are coming to you, right? You're gonna be the active agent versus versus being passive. You're gonna get out there, you're gonna door knock and let everybody know that you got a home that's gonna sell. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna let them know that you're doing an open house, right? Those are the things that's gonna get you it's gonna get you buyers, but also gonna get that listing sold, right?
Yeah.
And it goes all back to what we said earlier. We already built a rapport with these individuals. They know who we are. It don't matter. If we driving around their car, they're gonna wave at us when they're walking their dog, right? Because they know who we are, right?
Absolutely.
They're gonna stop us and they're gonna say, "Hey, what's going on, Deb? Tell me about the market. You know what? I hear a lot of things. Is it really true? Absolutely. By the way, you know, if you were to move, where would you move to?"
Yeah. What do you know? This is now we're getting a little bit more exciting. Now we're going to get really exciting. And I'm doing a 70% commission split. It's just an average. It doesn't mean that's what we offer. We go from 50 to 90% with Beggins. So, but an average, if you're looking at a $200,000 home with a 3% side, just one side is $6,000. That's $4,200 in your pocket. 30 of those are going to give you $126,000 a year. Let's jump up to $400,000. 30 of those are going to give you $252,000 a year.
$250,000 a year.
Changing your price point, huh?
$250,000 a year.
I mean, I hope this makes sense to you guys, because if you're at an 80 or 90% split, this goes up exponentially. You know, if you're in the $500,000 price range, it's going to go up. Danya Perry, who is with C21 Jim White in, I think in Madeira Beach. She is the #1 agent in the world for the past 15, 20 years. She's awesome. Her farm starts at $1 million and she farms.
And just to go back to her, that's how she started, right?
Yeah.
Her story is door knocking. She went into the $1 million communities and started door knocking, guys. Yeah. That's how she started.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've heard her story, Thomas. She's amazing. And she'll tell you, well, when my inventory gets low, the only thing I can do is go out and door knock. And she still does. She's amazing. So success leaves clues. These numbers should get you totally excited, because this is reality. This isn't a pie in the sky. You're capable of doing this if you put in the work. We've given you some great tools today. Go ahead, Thomas.
I also want to say too that, you know, if you this goes back to the discipline, what we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you say that you're going to make 5 contacts, or better yet, just say, you know what, today I'm going to knock on 10 doors. And you're at number 7 because it's too hot and you're sweaty and you just want to give up because you just didn't have the best of luck. You don't know what's behind those other 3 doors. So don't stop. Just keep pushing yourself.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, maybe you may not get a yes, but you know what? It's a sense of accomplishment. I did what I set out to do. And that ain't enough is give yourself a pat on the back because
Absolutely.
you accomplished your goal. And you just continue doing that, guys. Don't go out there and short yourself, right? Don't push yourself.
Push yourself.
Because that's the only way that you're going to get things done. If you half-ass it, guess what? That's the results you're going to get. Yep. Bottom line. So you got to push hard.
Yeah. And you know, you think about the image you're leaving out there when you're out there door knocking. People are going to see you. They're going to see consistency with you. They're going to see your work ethic. You know, they're going to know you're out there in front of them every month. And eventually, you know, they don't even want to talk to you the first month. By the 3rd month, 4th month, they're seeing you at the door. They're spilling their guts to you about their whole life. And that is how it works. So it is amazing what you can do and create in a farm. You've seen the math. You've seen how you can make an astounding living in real estate. You know, what are you going to do with your income? That's a big question that Jeff has asked you to do. How many people can you help? That's our real why. How many people can we really help in the next year, in the next 2 years? How many? When you get that number, you'll know what the rest of your numbers will be. Any questions? Thomas, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I just want to just leave this with you here. Dream big, work hard, and just surround yourself with like-minded people, guys. Because when you do that, you stay engaged, you stay motivated, you stay inspired. That's the only way it's going to happen. Because you know what? There's a lot of naysayers that's out there. There's a lot of people that's going to try to put you down. And when things are not happening fast enough, they're going to say, is this really worth it? But trust me, it is worth it. And sometimes it's not always about how fast you go. It's just, if you're taking the necessary steps every single day to do the right thing, to reach your goal, that's what matters in the end. So again, dream hard, dream big, work hard, and surround yourself with the like-minded people.
Excellent words of advice, Thomas. Thank you. So
you'll
have an awesome, awesome day. Think about farming. Reach out to us if you want to talk any more. We'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.